you can have it all. It is possible. It takes time. It'll maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, but you will get to where you want to go if you put the hustle into it and you work on yourself. Now, there's 7 days. We know numbers are very important, 7 days and 7 years. And we see that
7 years pattern, right?
Yeah, correct. Have you ever heard, when you pass that 7 year, watch out with your marriage, whatever, your relationship, these cycles.
Couple, 7 years, 5 to 7, business 5 to 7. If you do bankruptcy, 7 years in Quebec, in Canada, but you see the 7 years pattern in life also.
So 7 days, I was inspired many years ago back. If you can control 7 days, right? How can you control 2 years down the line, right? That's very important. That's in the 3 parts of our lives where there's cycles: business, career, marriage, family, and we're talking about the health. And they're interconnected. If you mess up one, it'll affect the others. So these patterns, these cycles, 7 days, right? It's going to turn into a bad 7 years. You're going to come 7 years, do it all again. 7 days, do it all again. That Monday's coming back. So it is extremely important to sit down and say, okay, I got to analyze my life. That's what we do in our live events. We've got 3-day live events that are free. People come in, they learn about these 3 parts in their lives and how they can change this, right? Because if you don't go through the process, you will always be at the same point 2 years down the road.
This is the point. This is so important. You cannot conquer what you don't confront, and you cannot confront what you don't identify. If you don't identify that you have always the same 7-day cycle, same Monday cycle, same Saturday cycle,
Friday cycle,
and same 7-year cycle, and see this pattern and same cycle from the family. Hey, my mother at the same age than me, she faced that. This is what I face now. Maybe not before, but this is what has started now, in the same pattern. Then we need to identify that. First of all, if you don't identify, how are you going to confront it and conquer it?
You think it's normal.
Yeah, it's just
part
normal.
of your life.
Exactly. But realize, no way. I'm a creator. I decide how I'm going to create the future of my life. Maybe I didn't decide where I come from. I didn't decide, my childhood, how things happen. But now I have the power and I can use my leadership to build this life that I want. Is it going to be easy? No. But I want to live my life by no regret. That means if, identify this pattern, I need to realize it's going to be a force, a resistance coming against me to try to repeat the same cycle, same pattern. I need to identify that. But I need after that to take massive action to confront this resistance, to change this flow for another flow. And it's going to ask a lot of effort, Adam, a lot of commitment, and to stay decided, to just say, okay, maybe it's not going to be easy all the time, but I'm created to change this pattern in my life, in my bloodline.
It's like in the marriage, the relationship, you got the law of demand. We all know the law of demand. If you're selling something, if people don't want it, whatever, you're in the wrong territory, you got to bring it to another territory. It's the law of environment, the law of demand. So now, if you go into your marriage, your relationship, and you say, okay, it's the law of demand. My husband does not want to go to whatever supper with me, dinner. He's not inviting me. He's not attracted to me no more. That's the law of demand. Something has changed. But probably your mom or grandma at this age and time down the line with that marriage, that happened too.
Same disappointment, same
correct.
rejection, same situation.
It's the law of demand. So if you want to change that law of demand at that moment to another law of demand, to another environment, another cycle, well, there's a way to do it, to finish this race the right way, because mom, grandma finished the same way. You don't want to finish like mom and grandma, because at one point, the children are grown or something. It is not normal like it was before. Everything changes. So to create that law of demand, you're going to have to do massive action to recreate that law of demand, that attraction. And when a woman has decided to do that, it's a process.
It's a process, and I really believe when you take back your power this way, you identify the cycle, you renounce to that. You say, no way, you're not going to control me like you control the generation before. You want to take just control over my life. I have the power to resist that. I have the power to take massive action opposed to that. And when you do that, then you're not going to have regret. If something is not working, you're not going to really have regret, because you know that you have done everything you had to do. And secondly, I believe in the law of return. You're going to reap what you sowed, one way or the other way.
Yeah.
But if you don't do anything about it, you're going to have the regret to say, I shouldn't do this. I should, then you didn't do it, and now you go to bed and you have this regret. We have all regret in our life, but it's a day to day to realize, no, now, from now to the future, I'm not going to live my life by regret. I'm going to push against this resistance and do everything I have to do, because the law of return exists. And I'm going to reap what I fought for.
That's right. You got to stand your ground. Anybody out there, whatever those three areas in our lives, from money, career, business, you want that success. You've tried so many courses, whatever, there's cycles that's coming up against you. You're going to have to do what I call the survival mode, become that Rambo.
Yeah.
You put those,
Yeah.
the
Line, black line.
yeah, under the eyes. I don't know what they call them, but like in football, they do that. But you have to say, okay, this is enough. All right, I'm going to change that cycle. I'm going at war. I'm going to stand my ground, get the tools I need. You have to cross that line to change that cycle, or else that cycle is going to come back over. It's just going to overwhelm you. It's like that wave just knocking your boat over every time. You got to face those waves, right?
Yeah.
You can't be sideways, or else your boat will tip over, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be facing those waves, whatever strength they have. No, I'm going to get on the other side.
If you don't do that, you're going to be destroyed by the wave.
Oh, yeah.
I realized in my life many years ago, I had to overcome this cycle or average. Just okay in the marriage, okay financially, just okay in my body, but just okay, just fine, not over, in the abundance. I realized, just be married, but just be okay, just okay, average, it's very dangerous. You can just be comfortable. But when you realize this is a cycle in my family, we're not poor, not rich, just okay. They stay married, okay. They were not overweight, but a little bit overweight, okay. Like, health, okay. But I didn't want to keep that in my life. I realized I want to have the abundance life. I want to have it all. And just not just survive, but just receive the more than enough in my life. Then I needed to take, wave after wave, war after war. You cannot fight everything at the same time.
No, you can't.
You have different seasons in your life. Now, what was the season for this part in my life? I say, I'm going to destroy this cycle of average cycle and just fight against and use all my power, my strength to say no. Like you said, the black line here, say no way, I'm going on the war. I'm not going to let this average mindset, average life, average result in my life to take place and be comfortable with that. I prefer to be uncomfortable for a time to become more comfortable to another level. But if you're just comfortable with just okay and surviving, you're going to stay there.
Yep.
And you're not going to have it all. And you're not going to finish well, because it's a law. Everything that is not moving forward will move backward.
That's right.
It's not stagnant. You think your life is going to just be stagnant. But if you don't push to move forward, you're going to see that you're going to move backward.